Hi everybody, this is Tatiana and this is An Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole. This is set during the Civil War time, and before I get any further into this review, let me say this was my first read by Alyssa Cole and it will not be my last because I thoroughly enjoyed this novel. It follows mainly Ellen, who is an African American female, and she is also a spy. I was going to say she's a member of the Secret Service, but the Secret Service doesn't exist during this time. This is the start of what I believe is going to be a companion series called The Loyal League, and Ellen is a spy for the Loyal League, and her benefit to the League of being a spy is that she has an eidetic memory, which if you don't watch Big Bang Theory, get your life and watch it. And you don't know what that means. It means that everything she sees, experiences, reads, whatever, she memorizes word for word and she doesn't forget. So that makes her the ideal spy for this Loyal League organization, and she has been placed. She was a slave who was freed when she was a child, so the majority of her adult life, or the majority of her life, she's lived as a free black up north, but as part of her assignment during the Civil War for the Loyal League, she is sent to Virginia and other states that have, or cities that have still trying to oppose slavery, secessionist states, that's the word, to infiltrate houses of and work in houses of people who have access to authority and access to pertinent information that she can then send back to the Loyal League to help the North in their battle against the South. So she's stationed in Richmond, Virginia, at the home of a senator during the time period of the Civil War, like right when the Civil War is beginning. I think when we pick up in the novel, we are 3 weeks into the Civil War, and so the toll that it's taking on the state, the city, as well as the people who live there. If you are not aware, when the Civil War started, the idea was, especially for the states in the South, was that the war was going to last like a weekend. Like it was going to be quick, over and done with, and they could go back about their daily routines, but that's not what happened. And I'm saying this is 3 weeks after the date of the Civil War started, but I don't really know the timeline of the Civil War, but this happens right after the fall of Fort Sumter. So that's when she's put in that, or where we pick up with her being put in that situation. The other character in this novel's name is, his last name is McCall. Holy crap, Malcolm. Is Malcolm McCall. He is also a spy, but he is white. Malcolm and Ellen cross paths, and Malcolm falls in love with Ellen because Malcolm is also a spy for the North. I don't know if I said that. He's also a spy for the North, but he has to put on this air of being a soldier for the Confederacy, and all of this stuff to infiltrate. And he ends up infiltrating the same family where Ellen is serving as a slave. Sees her, falls in love with her, and then it's the whole dealing with, you're white, I'm black, this can't happen, you're a spy, I'm a spy, are we on the same side? That whole trying to figure that out situation, as well as trying to help the North in the battle against the South and the dangers that go along with that. I thoroughly enjoyed this novel. There were a couple of inconsistencies that took place. One main one that sticks out to me in my head now is when Elle goes to talk to one of the slaves that's also part of the network, or not necessarily the Loyal League, but is somebody who helps with the communications. And when the scene begins, he's holding a bag of apples that he has across his back, and then like a sentence later he puts down a bag of grain, but it was apples. So between sentence A and sentence B, the apples went to grain, and for some reason the editors didn't catch that. Alyssa Cole is African American. Hold on, I will get her picture. Hopefully you can see that. And I just thoroughly enjoyed this. I enjoyed the way it was written. I liked getting the viewpoints from both Ellen as well as Malcolm, and then also the things was said. Okay, the things that were said to Ellen, because it's part of Ellen's role. She plays a mute, which they decided to do after a traumatic experience that happens to her on another mission for the Loyal League, and so she is mute in this situation. And so the things that are said to her that are so degrading and demoralizing, not just because she's dumb, but because she's a slave in this situation. And what's sad is, it's as ugly as some of the things were that were said to her, it's not that different from things that we hear today. So, you know, as I was reading that part, you know, some parts of me started to boil, which you really can't. Like, you think that it won't affect you that way, but you really don't know until you read it. And some parts of me started to boil, as well as coming to understand Malcolm and his role and his affection and feelings for Elle, and what, like, kept the thing that keeps you on the edge of your seat, like you're waiting for them to get caught. Because you know it's going to happen at some point, because this is not just taboo, but dealing with the taboo while also dealing with Civil War South, while also dealing with the fact that both of you are spies, with also dealing with the fact that Elle has places she's expected to be at specific times, and, you know, the dangers of being a pretty light-skinned darky during living in the South as a slave during the Civil War or during slavery, period. Just all of that was captured so well in this novel, and I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I picked it up because it was short. It's like 250-something pages. Super short. I read it in 6 hours and some change. Once I started Friday night, I had to force myself to go to bed because I was really tired and I was rereading sentences. But I had to force myself to go to bed because it's like once you start, it just moves so quickly. This is not something that I would categorize as like a beach read, but my beach reads are different than other people's beach reads. This is something that once you start it, it will pull you in. It does deal with some difficult topics, but it's something that you would be immersed into. So for me, if I were going to the beach, I could take this with me and be in it and enjoy it while I'm there. That, for me, is a beach read. So, yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I highly recommend her. I am waiting for a book 2 to become available through the Overdrive app, even though I'm supposed to be reading books from my bookcase. Yeah, we know how that's working. It's not available yet, and my library doesn't have it in print. If all of those don't work out, guess what? I just might be buying some of her books because I liked it that much. So that's all that I'm going to say for this review. I hope this is quick and simple. We will see once editing starts happening. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, I'm going to go. Have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.